All right, guys, I'm back after fixing the issues I had on my end, and I believe I left off with counter offense. I started a new fight because I wanted to save my game so I can exit out of the game and do some stuff. So yeah, this is a different challenge, and I'm fighting a bunch of bees. So this is another easy scenario. So where we have to use our imagination to make this lesson work. So I was talking about counter offense, and now I'm on counter tactics, which is basically the same, but it's taking a card out of their tactical hand, which is very very huge. With counter offense, you're always dealing with a minion, so it's 100% dealing with um, reducing damage taken to you and reducing uh damage that you have to do on the board, killing something. But with counter tactics, you kind of never know what you're getting rid of. Are you getting rid of someone that's going to get closer, or are you getting rid of something that's going to buff something? Um, Anytime you're dealing with big creatures, I'm trying to think. Maybe because it's the AI, or whatever like that. But I feel that the offensive hand is way more threatening of a hand to where you'll want to use than their tactical hand, because they use their tactical hand sometimes not intelligently or whatever. So even if you're trading, like, so you remember when I was talking about counter offense, what are you trading? Like, if I'm and I was using a weak person example, if, like using her, if I use counter offense and she was weak and these guys were strong, uh I always be like, what am I trading? I'm trading a little bit of damage and a little bit of health for something big. This will like always be good. But with counter tactics, sometimes I'll gamble and I'll just throw them out anyway, because I have absolutely no idea what am I trading. Are they gonna use get closer and something's big gonna come out and be threatening, or is it going to be just something useless? But again, it would be always a good idea to use counter tactics if you know they have nothing but big minions over here. Say like in that last fight I had, it was a witch. I don't really know what the witch would do. She's not that much threatening, but I know she probably have stats into abilities where she can use stuff, but I don't know if she's gonna use those intelligently. But if I know there's big stuff over here, they usually always get closer. So I was like, 100% always use counter tactics, even though it's more valuable to use them for counter offense, because if they come out the tactical hand, they're going to be confused. So they're half effective as they are coming from the offensive hand. So that's one thing you have to think about. The tactical hand is very more confusing to try to predict, and how to know the how to efficiently deal with versus the minion hand. And confused is the last thing. What confused does is why don't I just throw some more cards out and just show you and try to think of some scenarios. All right. What confused us is it makes someone loses a turn during the fight phase. You get 2 turns. Let's think of this as an example. Let's say if I didn't have all these 4 people over here, I might just have one. Let's say if I just had this chick, and this target would not die from her. Let's say it was one of those big monsters or whatever like that from that last fight doing 32 damage. I would kind of want to confuse, because as of now, if I confuse this thing, and if it would take her 2 hits to kill this thing, I can take away all damage on the board as of now. Let's say this thing had 10 health and she did 5 damage. If I confuse this thing, I can guarantee that she would kill this thing before it has a chance to act. Um, that's how I would be a good time to use confuse on a target that you don't want to do damage. And if this thing was doing 32, you don't want it to do damage. But let's say it's a little minion um, in a fight, because you have some fights where you have like one or two big threats and you have a lot of little trash stuff. I wouldn't want to waste confuse on this, even though it will do damage. It would hit her for 4 and it'll take her to negative damage because she only has 2 shielding. I would rather use Get Closer because each one of my tactical cards will bring more value to the board than taking this thing out for 1 turn. And that's another thing you have to consider, even when dealing with warrior minions, is that Get Closer is going to give you 100% of your armor and shielding stats on the board and give you half of your damage because you're only going to go 1 turn. Is that more valuable than taking one creature out for 1 turn? Is it? I don't know. It depends on the scenario. Let me think. I think of some scenarios. Confused. Other ones. Weak guys. Okay, let's say like there are going to be big threats coming in from this side, and let's say she can confuse. This is one of my wimpy villager people. And I'm like past the phase where I could have just threw her to the left and she'd be 100% safe. Now I'm in the phase where anyone else put in play is going to be scrapping it out, and she will more likely die. It won't do any damage. So if I'm trying to value lives, I won't throw her in here. But let's say if she does have the confuse ability, I would even waste it on this little bee if she can confuse, because in the back of my mind is I'm not gonna throw her out because there's gonna be some head choppers coming over here, and she won't do anything. So I'll use confuse in a situation like that. I think that's all the abilities except the attack types, slash and blunt. Poison, I think most people catch on poison easily. Poison helps you beat tough creatures, but a lot of people love poison on spears, even I do. Let's say like this bee. Bees in the early game, you kind of hate poison because bees have the spear attack and they have the poison. And let's say she didn't have any shielding. Just by coming into play, she will already be negative, and that bee gets 2 turns, and it can kill her because it'll have the bonus from poison. Poison helps you deal with big threats. Let's say like in that earlier game. Let's say if I had a chance to go twice to start that game instead of once when I was dealing with those 32s, I would throw someone out just enough to take that card into negative health, and then throw a lot of poison damage at that target. Yeah. Like I say, a lot of people pick up on poison usefulness early on. I kind of like it on. Well, I don't say I kind of like it. I want to experiment with a game focusing on sword and board, a shield and a sword, and just poison, to where I know I'm not going to be one-shotting a lot of targets mid-game, but I'm shielded so I can take a hit, and I'm poisoned, so when I come back on that second turn during that fight phase, I would do a lot of damage. But yeah, a lot of people pick up on that. Same thing with leeching though. Leeching is hard to utilize because you have to expect to take damage, but you have to risk taking damage at the same time. I have experimented so much with this. I'll assume maybe it'll be useful in the sword and board. Well, no, it wouldn't, because with leeching you want to do a lot of the damage. Maybe a axe and shield, because the axe does a lot of damage, and you have a little bit of shield, and so you won't die. But if you take a big hit, you can come back with a big hit afterwards. I'm thinking about it while I'm talking about it. It'll be good in like a character that can take a hit that's not gonna die in one turn, but does a lot of damage that can come back and just regen all their health right back up or something like that. I don't know. Leech is a confusing one. I haven't had a chance to experiment with it, and I know it's more of a risky tactic. And blunt, I talked about blunt already. It lets you go twice. I think I'm done. I believe I covered all the stuff I want to talk about. So yeah, that's my little advanced intermediate guide to how to play this card game. And I think that'll be my last video that I can think of. And I hope y'all like this. If you like it, like the video, comment, whatever like that. I'm kind of thinking about doing more of these videos. This is like in a format that I wish other people would do instead of like just Let's Plays. I like to watch information, so I try to make this video as informational as I could. Also, yeah, when I was talking about some guy that's having a whole bunch of stealth and I don't know why, and I was talking about gathering, no, it comes from stealth. I still do not know how that person got so much first action. Let's find out real quick. And here this guy go. He has 8 stealth and he's a warrior, and I have no stealth. Is not something warriors get often. Like here's another warrior has 1 stealth. My other warrior has 2 stealth. Kip has 8 stealth. He's level 5. Sometimes you get characters that just level up oddly. And that's why he has so much first action. But anyway, that's my videos. Like, comment, do the thing. And if I get a lot of positive feedback, I might start doing these for other new games. And see you soon.